Now the floor is open for question answers. You please name the speaker to whom you want to address the question, and you will find answers which will be yeah, the answers which will be more interesting than the speeches you have heard.
Has also been built by leaders of religion who have done selfless sacrifice and great teachings. But all of them today are unanimously embroiled in some controversies brought in by the government. What do you think? This also should change. Mr. Jethmalani, please.
Question addressed to who?
Mr.
Jethmalani. No, selflessness. Selfless leaders. Not just education.
I agree with you that model leaders in our public life are a great source of development of character of others. But the point is that are we producing those great people today? I am aware of the great leaders of religion in the religious field here in India, but I am telling you, and pardon my confession to you, that I have mixed feelings about religion, because in India we have called ourselves a secular state, and the meaning of a secular state is not understood. The secular state in India means the subordination of belief to this rule of reason and logic. Because when we said that everybody has the right to practice religion, profess religion, and even propagate religion, because the minority members in the Constituent Assembly asked for the third right, that we want the right to propagate religion. And Nehru and Ambedkar told them that you are asking for a very dangerous right to be created. They said, no, we want it. They said, all right, we will accept the challenge. So it was a challenge accepted, and the word propagate was added to Article 25 of the Constitution. But ladies and gentlemen, the Constitution makers were a great galaxy of intellectuals. They realized that something dangerous was being done. They made all these three rights, profess, practice, propagate, subject to public order, public health and morality. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, every religious practice and dogma will be tested on the touchstone of public order, public health and even morality. The startling implication of our secularism is that there are some religious practices and beliefs which are even contrary to morality. How will you resolve this conundrum? It can only be resolved by the small little mammalian equipment which Providence has given us. To my mind, let me summarize to you what the meaning of India's secularism is. India's secularism mandates every citizen to lead a life totally governed by reason and logic, but inspired by this great dynamo of love, charity and compassion. There is no higher religion than that, and I summarize my own religion in one line. My one-line religion is to make as many people happy as I can while I am alive. And thank you.
My question is to Mr. Parasaran. We are speaking about independence of the judiciary. Now, state is the most litigant in this country. For every infrastructure, the judiciary has to look up to the state government or the central government, even for basic infrastructure facility. Obviously, certain compromises had to be made for this. Should we not have a separate budget for the judiciary so that independence is maintained in that sense, that they doesn't look upon to the local legislatures for sanctioning the budget? One. With regard to other question, we speak about the integrity and honesty of the judges. When the judges are in sitting or in holding the position, we give them the royal treatment. The moment they retire, we give pittance as their pension. Should we not ensure that they are paid reasonably and their rest of life is ensured with basic requirements and infrastructure, I think that will maintain the integrity and honesty of the judiciary, and they don't look upon to the post-retirement postings, which will also help.
The independence of the judiciary is still being built up and developed in view of all these controversies. I agree that they should also have economic independence. In due course of time, I hope things will settle and they will get that independence. There have been already suggestions being made from several quarters that even retired judges should be paid the same honorarium which they were drawing as sitting judges. In fact, it is wrong to call it even as salary. It is only an honorarium which is being paid for their noble services. Therefore, that should necessarily be taken care of as far as the post-retirement benefits are concerned. The problem comes in only for post-retirement benefits when they expect appointments. Then questions arise as to whether they are looking forward or forward-looking judges, or they shaping anything case looking at that. Then the question arises. That's a matter of debate that did not arise in today's debates. That's a matter of area where I feel that there should be no post-retirement assignment to any Supreme Court judges. In fact, only with got High Court judges, there can be post-retirement assignment, because a Supreme Court judge has functioned with no other higher authority over him. To take any assignment for any position, again he subjects himself to a judicial review. It looks a little anomalous. That can also have an impact on the independence of the judiciary.
The people who ask, identify yourself and mention whether you are a lawyer, what you are, so that people who can answer can.
My name is Shantanu. I am into business. My question is to Sri Ram. Sir, I am totally in agreement with your view. Character can be made by nature and nurture, and your suggestion of education can make the. I would request you to please tell the Indian education system, which has been implemented by Macaulay, how can it serve the Indian culture and Indian education to make character in Indian citizen? Thank you, sir.
Absolutely right in your feeling. Today, if you talk of development of Indian culture, Indian civilization, and the ancient ideas of India's very ancient and enviable civilization, you will be considered a communal-minded person. The word secular has become a word of political abuse. I am secular, my opponent is communal. Now this is the tragedy of India, and that is why you find that the third-class institutions in which neither reason nor logic nor freedom from dogma and the development of the scientific spirit are talked about, those institutions get good grants, but other schools and colleges and universities which don't do this kind of dirty job for people, they get no kind of help or sustenance. So you are right. Again, democracy, you are the sovereign of the country. You have to cast your votes properly. Democracy is a swimming pool. If you don't periodically change water, it becomes a cesspool. Find out today whether it has become a stinking cesspool already or not. If it has, please have the courage to protest and say that you shall change the water.
Good evening, sir. My question, good evening. I'm Srimati, my name is Srimati, I'm a lawyer here in Madras High Court. My question to Mr. Ram Jethmalani is, as regards judicial independence, should judges share dais with politicians who are facing criminal charges or some kind of prosecution? And should judges of court occupy the same dais?
Well, If
Thank
I
you,
were
sir.
a judge, I would not. In fact, you know, as a law teacher, when we started celebrating the law day in our college in Pune, we designed an oath to be taken on the law day. And one of the parts of that oath is that I shall not by my conduct lend respectability or encouragement to any person of a dubious character. Now, if the judges were to listen to this, they probably will not associate with such bad characters. And even if they do, they should do for the purpose of showing them that there is a better method of living in this world, there is a better art of life, and a better code of social behavior.
I am Rangarajan, advocate practicing at Chennai. The question is to Mr. You have excellently argued that the character is going to be built only by new excellent education. It's a very correct one, but in a long run, in a final disposal, it can be done. As an interregnum period, the interim relief now, presently, even that can be done only by the proper good governance and straightforward government. I don't know whether in the short run, whether we are going to get the relief from the corruption and from nepotism and favoritism.
Again for me?
Yeah,
Yes, again, for you, only for you, sir.
you have another character, politician.
Well, I don't know whether you are really asking a question. You have given me a statement of yours which you want me to accept. I have no difficulty in accepting it without any modification.
Good evening, Mr. Sorabjee. I'm a journalist with the Times of India. This question is for you. We constantly hear about political interference in High Court appointments. How does the Judicial Commission have a bearing on High Court appointments? Does it have any bearing? Do you think it will improve or in any way change the situation?
Same principle will apply. Whole idea of Judicial Commission, whatever name you call it, is to see to prevent executive interference in what? In appointment. Why? Because we don't want Sarkari judges. Judges who will bow to the will of the executive. That's the whole problem. As I said, collegium system, that was the genesis. It hasn't worked very satisfactorily, but don't throw it out. Try and improve upon it. And the best way to improve upon it, I tell you, as I said, a vocal bar, a vigilant bar, a responsible bar, and ultimately will depend upon the character of the people who are selected as judges. And you can't legislate character. There I agree with Ram Jethmalani, it's a wrong process. Education and inculcating the right values. I want to say one thing which everyone has omitted. We have in our Constitution Article 51A, which prescribes certain fundamental duties. And some of them are to develop the scientific temper, to renounce practices delegated to women, superstition, and to strive to higher levels of excellence. So these duties also are important for citizens to perform, and that will in the long run lead to formation of a proper character. Long-term remedy, but you must make a start in that direction.
Namaste, I am Ishwaran, a retired bank officer. Yesterday we celebrated the RTI Day. As seniors, you have guided the youngsters of today to leave a good legacy and a good heritage for the coming generation. In this connection, many political parties have been trying to cull out the information of the Swiss banks, balances of our politicians and others. When will this happen? Can the judiciary be of help to the common man whose feelings are very much centered on this? Again, our Prime Minister has once used the word judiciary outreach. which has hurt the feelings of the citizens. Thank you, sir. This I am addressing the dais. Anybody can answer this, sir. Thank you.
I think Anil Divan may be able
I would have answered this question, but my counsel is present here, so I'll request him to do that. Anil Divan is my counsel in the Supreme Court.
Incidentally, I was his counsel when he was detained at the Misa during emergency.
I'll tell you the position of the case just now, before I answer the question. We had a very great judgment from Justice Sudarshan Reddy and Justice Nijja, on 4th of July 2011. And then Sudarshan Reddy retires after 4 days. So the government came out with an application saying the SIT, the Special Investigation Team, was directed to be headed by Justice Divan Reddy as chairperson and Justice M.B. Shah as vice chairperson. All the others are bureaucrats. Now the government got so nervous that they applied for a recall of this direction. So Sudarshan Reddy having retired, it went before a bench of Altamash Kabir and Justice Nijja. After 4 days of argument, Justice Altamash Kabir said, this application is maintainable. That's all. Didn't decide the application. Nijja, of course, deferred. With the result that today it is in cold storage. In spite of the fact that efforts were made to get a hearing or a third judge, that has not succeeded. So that's second. Now we wanted to know whether it can come back from the Swiss accounts. If the present administration continues, it's not possible. If the present administration is thrown out in the next election, there is a very distinct possibility.
The question and answer session closes.
Excuse me, last question.
Anil Bhai, can I, as your client, add one or two
Can I
things?
ask a last question?
No, please tell us the inside story. Huh?
No. I only want to tell you, all people to exercise a little bit of common sense. And it is this, that the German government gave a bribe of $475 million to a Swiss bank and got the names of all the international thugs from all over the world who had bank accounts in that bank, the Liechtenstein bank. And the Germans then made an announcement publicly that we are willing to share this information which we have now got about the culprits with every government without cost, without condition. If I was the Prime Minister of this country, I would certainly have gone to Germany that minute and brought back the names of the rascals. And by now they would have been in jail. Nothing happened. On the contrary, they have taken every possible step to see that the names are not supplied. Now this is point number one. Now point number two. Point number two is that if my name as an opposition leader or opposition member or another friend of mine, even Anil Bhai, my counsel, if we had bank accounts and our names were in this, be sure that we both of us would have been in jail. Now why are these names not being disclosed? They are not being disclosed because they are not names of people whom they dislike. They are the names of those whom they like. And I have said in public that I strongly suspect whose names they are, and they are the names of those who are leaders of your party. Why don't they have the courage to prosecute me?